Today we're going to be talking about Puncher's Chance Unified Belt. This is a 3-cask blend. It's made up of a 4-year high-rye bourbon whose mash bill is 70% corn, 20% rye, 10% malted barley. It's married to a 4-year Irish whiskey that's made up of 100% malted barley, and then a 14-year bourbon that is finished in fresh fill Pedro Ximenez and Olorosso sherry casks. Comes in at 96 proof. Definitely curious to see how this one tastes, being 3 completely different mash bills on this one. But without further ado, let's go. Alright guys, so as I stated, this is a 3-cask blend comprising of 2 bourbons and 100% malted barley Irish whiskey. 96 proof. Let's get the nose. So further away from the glass, you really start to pull out some more of that malted barley. Further into the glass, it actually kind of transitions into this like plum kind of lemon. And then that malted barley is offering some of those like chocolatey notes, more of like a milk chocolate, not so much dark. It smells like it's very, very rich, very thick. I do like that combination of that lemon and the plum together, though. You know, you're getting some of those citrus notes, and you're getting some of those darker fruits from that. You know, the influence from the Pedro Ximenez and Olorosso sherry casks. Yeah, definitely picking up a lot of lemon further into the glass. A lot of citrus notes, but then still having some of that dark fruit influence in there from those fresh fill casks. And then that chocolatiness, a kind of milk chocolate, almost reminds me of like a chocolate malt there further away from the glass. Let's get the palate, guys. Cheers. That's pretty tasty. So what I was saying on the nose is how it's going to be, kind of creamy and rich and dense. It definitely, on that first sip, it definitely offers that mouth coating oiliness there. It's almost chewy. So on the front of the palate, it's more of that Olorosso sherry and that Pedro Ximenez. Definitely a lot darker on the front of the palate. I'm getting like almost some grapes, some purple grapes, some plums, a little bit of raisin there. Then on the center of the palate, you do get some of that citrus that starts to attach there to the sides. Some of that lemon, maybe a little bit of orange there. That kind of goes away fairly quickly. And then it goes into the back of the palate, and that's kind of where the malted barley kind of makes its appearance there. It gets slightly drying there on the back of the palate, but the front and the middle of the palate is just kind of bursting with flavor. It has a pretty nice finish to it. Again, just kind of slightly dry. It could be because it's my first sip, but really mouth coating, really dense, rich, thick first sip. I like that. Let's get a second one. Yeah, it is definitely very rich and thick on the palate. I mean, it's very mouth coating. Front and middle of the palate is just kind of just bursting with flavor. It's kind of running down the jawline there a little bit. I mean, I'll be honest, it's a very interesting blend. Something I probably would have never thought of creating myself. I mean, outside of the 2 bourbons, the 4-year-old high-rye bourbon, and then that 14-year-old bourbon. But then throwing in that 100% malted barley Irish whiskey is definitely different. And I think that's kind of what's putting that twist on this thing. That could also be incorporating a lot of those, that viscosity and that like thickness, rich, dense on the palate. And being 96 proof, I mean, it's pretty good. I this one actually took me by surprise, to be honest. Let's get a last sip. Cheers. Those dark kind of fruit notes, the raisins and the plums, have kind of, and like that citrus, it's like a ball of citrus that just sits there. That's kind of transitioned into the back of the palate and kind of covering up a little bit of that malted barley. But I honestly feel like that viscosity is more so coming from the that Irish whiskey. But it is a very, very flavorful whiskey for only being 96 proof and a very unique blend. Hats off to you guys, Wolf Spirits. This Puncher's Chance is definitely quite the surprise. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to give a big shout out to the team over at Wolf Spirits for supplying me with this sample here to review on the channel. Guys, quite the surprise. I'll be very honest with you. Quite the surprise on the palate. I know looking at this blend, this 3-cask blend, it may seem like it's kind of off-putting. To me, this is just, it's packed full of flavor. It honestly is packed full of flavor. A lot of that dark fruit influence there. You do get that malted barley at the start, but that kind of dissipates the more sips that you take. Has a really nice and very interesting and inviting nose. I think they did a fantastic job releasing this whiskey. This is something that, again, falls on that unique side. But again, I mean, you know, in order to take risks, I mean, there's, you know, you're a 50-50, either it's going to work or it's not. And I think I think they the risk worked for them in this case. Fantastic job here from Wolf Spirits. Guys, if you're looking for more reviews like this, hit that subscribe button, bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You can also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. Till next time, guys, stay dusty.